This is the Andres Segovia Show.
Yeah, I'm here. What's going on, y'all? There. Getting something set up here on the side. Let's see. So I'm trying to set up a second camera, and I keep getting the echo. So if this is going to be bothersome, I might have to drop that altogether. But hope everyone's well. Let me close this out for now. I got some notes, and I'm coming at you from a... Man, I'm hearing that echo. I don't know what you guys are. Let me see. Okay. So I have a whole new setup that I'm doing right now. And this is in a way to try to be more engaging with you all, especially live. So some of you might see a Rumble Studio logo somewhere up there. That's because I am doing a pass-through. I am doing a pass-through from StreamYard to Rumble Studio, and this is going out to everyone on Twitch, Locals, YouTube, Rumble, and X. So yeah, I'm streaming pretty much in a wider berth, but my goodness, I keep hearing this freaking echo. Let me close this thing out right now. Okay. And I'll come back to that. See how I can make that work. But it's not going to happen just yet. So anyway, on shout out to my friends over at Parlor. I'm wearing their shirt today. They didn't ask me. I'm just doing it. If you're not already following me there, go over to parlor.com. If you have been on Parlor before, you should look into getting your account back, because they're about to launch their entirely rehauled interface, at least for mobile. And I'm excited about that because I'm curious to see where that's going to go. Anyway, let me put the stuff off to the side. I have the Unplugged Phone here. I wanted to do the second camera setup. It's just that Rumble Studio does not allow for a camera setup just yet, like multiple cameras. I think that's what some people are complaining about with respects to getting ready for the Creators Program, which is technically launching in March. Right now, it seems a little biased in that it favors the game streamers. And yeah, it does, especially given the short notice, because February 4th was when the program was announced. I was waiting for that. And as soon as they announced it, the requirements were like, whoa, hold on. So we got to stream 30 hours within 30 days to be eligible, along with other stuff, to be able to stream again another 30 hours in March, to not just be enrolled into the program, but remain on the program. That's 60 hours in, I would say, 20, no, no, that's, well, it's 23 days. How many days are left in February? Yes, that's 23 days in February plus another 31 in March. So that's 54 days, 60 hours worth. Yeah, it definitely favors gamers. But not the end of the world. I'm planning on doing what I can to qualify. I've been actually preparing for that. You guys can't see it. I have an entirely new setup, which I'm going to be experimenting with y'all, and hopefully this will go well. I'm pulling up the questions and answer sections that I'm going to be doing from YouTube Studio mostly. I do have some questions that came in from X that I'll hopefully be able to pull up, and also some of you. Well, I don't think I had that many chime in on Rumble for these recent two videos, but I do have plenty from the community over on YouTube. So thank you, YouTube. I will be going over the questions and answers, even some that I've responded to, because there's always people that can benefit from that information. Now let me see. I got that pulled up. So you have you. I'm gonna be testing this. So I said I'm doing a bypass. Daniel Daniel Bia over on YouTube. Andres UP needs to have SIM card slot and earphone jack. Well, let me give you a shout out here. Thank you for joining, because you normally chime in when I'm covering the unplugged stuff. So kudos, thank you. And yes, I did mention that in my long term unplugged phone review. By the way, he's chiming in the live chat. So here's the way I think it's gonna work. I'm gonna be moving a couple of windows because I have multiple screens in front of me, and uh, I'm trying to respond to the comments that were already left on my videos. So I'm gonna try to do that as priority. But for those of you chiming in live, I will be, trying to get to your questions live. But since I'm using StreamYard, you're chiming in through the questions and comments are not showing up on StreamYard. I have Rumble Studio to my right where I'm doing the bypass, and everything is funneling through there. So fun that I'm going to be doing multiple screens in this way. It's a one-man show, but we'll get through this. And I have most of my questions lined up right here, just making sure I'm filtering them, even the ones that I responded to that I will highlight. By the way, there is a particular Q&A section that I've been holding off on because I've been waiting for confirmation that one of the team over developing the Brax 3 device, because a lot of you have been chiming in with your questions. I've relayed what I can, but I held off on most of them because I've been in talks to have him as Plemon from Lunar Tech. So they're the ones that are developing the phone for Rob. And we've been in talks to have him on the show. So we tried back in December. That hasn't materialized. So I followed up with him again last night, making sure that we can make these things work out. Because technically, I am in line to get the phone. I was in talks and hopefully maybe even getting the phone ahead of time. And so I don't have anything yet. So I've held off on those questions. Whether I have the phone or not, whether I have a guest on or not, I am intending on doing that Q&A next week. So like, share, and subscribe, stay in the know wherever you might be following, because this is going to be going out live to the lot of you. And I'm going to start sharing a screen here so you guys don't have to just see my mug. Just making sure I got the setup correct. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be sharing a screen on a screen. Yikes, it's gonna be a lot. Okay, and here we go. By the way, I'm not happy with YouTube right now. For those of you that follow me on socials, know that I am currently disputing a couple of copyright claims that were placed on my channel. So this whole Rumble thing is coming on the time that I most need it, because I am absolutely fed up with how I've been treated over on YouTube. So there's going to be a lot of questions, Q&As here that I'm going to be skipping over. So, like for example, like what is the Brax 3 phone by Rob Braxman? So I am collecting those questions. I will be going over them, like I said, in this own stream. This is going to be devoted to Unplugged, and at the end of this, I'll give you some odds and ends. But there are some updates that I did not share on my long-term review. For those of you that don't know, a little bit of background. I actually recorded, oh my goodness, I want to say about 6 hours of footage to trim it down to 15 minutes because kept having to redo certain things. Like that's too much. So I could say so much. That's basically the point, that I could say so much about this phone. So I kept it to the basics. I've been talking to Iran since the long-term review. He liked the long-term review. He had some feedback for me that I believe did warrant some clarification that I will share with you guys. So I will get to those notes a little later in the stream, but I want to first devote to the questions and answers just in case so I don't have to overlap so much. And just making sure I got my notes here pulled up. Next time, I'm going to bring a tablet so I can go over the OneNote stuff in front of me and not have all these other screens distracting me. Okay, so let me just do one more check on those of you on Rumble. Okay, so far just Daniel. All right. So for those of you just joining, thank you so very much. I'm Andres. For those of you that are new around here, and I do a show of business and tech, and every now and then, whatever I so choose to. So today I'm going to be going over a lot of questions, mostly from YouTube comments as well, with respects to the Unplugged phone. And for those of you that probably notice, you'll see that this is the 10th such stream I do, and hopefully the last one, because I'm trying to consolidate everything into this one. So let's power through it, shall we? I'm going to start with this one from a few weeks ago. I did a post from my community over on YouTube, and I also posted this across the socials because we were ravaged by the fires. I'm coming at you from Southern California, by the way. So we were ravaged by the fires and power outages and all these other things, and having my family having to evacuate and such. So it was a wild time, to say the least. Thank God, everybody I know for the most part is okay. Some of them, their lives are just like it's traumatic right now for a lot of them, especially when a lot of their friends and family, members of church and all that, they lost everything. So it's a wild time right now, and thoughts and prayers with everybody has been affected. As for me, we were spared this time. It was close last year, but this time we were spared from the worst of it. So for those of you that's like random name WYO saying stay safe, thank you very much. I gave that one a heart that chimed into that. Okay, so this one's from the What's in the Unplugged Phone App Store. That was my 4th stream of its kind. They said they need more app for camera. All right, so this is something I wanted to highlight because I actually left this out from my original review of the Unplugged phone because I didn't notice it, maybe because I was fumbling around the other switches. And I noticed it this time when I was doing the long-term review. There is a little more. There are some improvements to the camera. I'll tell you this much. The video quality on this, I feel, is the electronic image stabilizer, I believe, has improved too. I'm not one of the camera junkies out there. They're the ones that can do a deeper dive and break this all down. Juan Carlos Bagnell, looking at you. So hopefully maybe someone can do that. But what I can tell you is that I felt the image was a little more stable than the time when I did my original review. But what I didn't notice the first time was, maybe you'll be able to see it, but it's going to, let's see how I do this. Okay. There's a thing up here on the top corner that says AI. And I'm like, wait, this thing has like some kind of augmented interface here. It's not actually artificial intelligence, right? So technically, when you touch the button, when it's not yellow, when you touch it, it'll highlight. And this is why I wish I could set up the second camera right now. It's basically smart photo, and it does do a good job in reading environments. So I was at Knott's Berry Farm during the long-term review. And when I noticed that switch, I'm like, you know what? I want to utilize this. And sure enough, every time I pointed it at a structure, it'll say it's a building. If I pointed at some kind of landscape, it'll notice that it was a tree. Or when the lights were going dim, and notice that it was at night. So I'm like, oh, okay, so that's pretty cool. So it looks like it was adjusting, but that feature is only available for the default camera, not for all the other features. So this thing has video, picture, beauty mode, high res. So on high res, none of those things actually work. And that kind of sucks because I think the high res takes advantage of the 128 megapixel camera that's on this one. It's 720, I think. I don't have the specs in front of me, so and of course it has a bunch of other pro features, portraits. You can create GIFs with this thing or GIF, depending on who you are, how you pronounce it. Panorama, slow motion, mono, bokeh, macro, and wide angle. So there are a lot of features set to this camera, and that's as close as computational photography that I've seen on this device. You can mimic some of it through third-party applications. The best camera app that I've used for this one when taking pictures has been Lightroom, and I do recommend it for anybody that's interested. The only problem with Lightroom is that while it's great for the shutter bugs, you have to have a premium account to make this work. And being a de-Google device, technically that doesn't you cannot make purchases on it. So the app on the Unplugged store, Lightroom, it's Lightroom for Samsung. So this is the Samsung made for Samsung app from the Galaxy App Store. So if you have an existing Samsung, like I do, so I was signed in on the Galaxy App Store here with my account, and this is my Fold 6, by the way, Z Fold 6. So I was signed in there, and when I just signed in with the same account over here for the Lightroom app, it noticed that I had access to, I paid for the premium functions or features over on my other device, so it ported everything over. I don't know if it specifically has to be a Samsung account, but I can tell you this much. If you download the app, say through Aurora Store, if you're using a third-party Google Play Store, it will not work. You won't even be able to launch it because it'll say that it's missing Google Play services. So if you download through the Unplugged store, technically you can. So there are some, things, kinks that this is not an unplugged thing. It is a de-Google device thing. So just letting you know that paid for apps don't really work all that much. Thank you for that comment, Newell33331. This one's from Ralph Bushman 3364. Thanks for showing me what I'm getting into if I buy a de-Googled phone. You are welcome. This is actually a lot of the theme. There are many of you, and I gave you all a shout out in the long-term review that chimed in at the very end of the year. As I mentioned that my long-term review was delayed for a bunch of reasons. I got sick for over and over again because of my kids getting sick, and I lost my voice over and over again. So that also delayed it. Then of course the fires happened, and at the beginning of the year here in Southern California, crazy time. But anyway, I am grateful that a lot of you allowed me to show you the ropes. That's why I took time to do these things, because I didn't really see anybody else doing it, and there are plenty of resources to study up on the Googled stuff, but I know how daunting the task can be. Like, well, where do we even begin? So yeah, I know it's a lot. So I did what I could to respond to all of you, and that's in essence how YouTube mostly, and Rumble secondly, and to some extent X turned into some kind of forum for me to be able to respond to these things. So thank you for that. By the way, there is a comment on X. I want to get the name of the individual. I think it was Arclight. I'll try to find it here in a moment. That I do want to respond to, because it's an interesting exchange involving a certain privacy OS company, and anybody who's been keeping up with the news would know what I'm talking about. So I'll reiterate that a little later, I think. Okay, next one over. This one's from that post that I made to the many of you waiting on my delayed long-term review. Safe. So someone chiming in, RL4011. Thank you very much. Now, this one's from the walkthrough of Unplugged Phone's LibreDOS 2.0 Android 14 update, and Verizon doesn't work. So this was my quick hands-on, the walkthrough with the Android 14 OS. That Verizon didn't work anymore after that, so I couldn't use the Unplugged Phone on my carrier of choice. So unfortunately, I still can't, and I'll tell you why. I keep trying, but there's some firmware that I'm testing for Unplugged. So this is from Nate Fuller. I recognize his name. 6891. I am on my second Unplugged phone, as both have had major battery issues. Both would not hold a charge, take forever to charge, and the phone get really hot. I tried to love this phone, but it has been the worst phone experience I ever had. I don't think I read this comment. I didn't chime in or anything. So Nick Fuller, if you're watching, this is interesting. I will pass this up to Chen, because it is a new company, not so new anymore, because it's been selling a phone for several months. But that does sound like a lemon. But the problem, because you say you're on the second one, and has major battery issues. Okay, I have the box behind me. Let me get this thing. Sorry, I hit the mic there. So if I recall, when I did the unboxing, it doesn't come with a charging brick. Okay. I don't know what charging brick you might have used to charge your battery. I'm not trying to carry water for Unplugged either. I'm just saying that there's other factors that could be at play. Because this one, I believe, has 18-watt charging. You know, I'm going to pull up a different webpage here. Yeah, let me pull up the Unplugged site to get the specs. I'm going off memory here, and we'll see them together. Okay. Unplugged phone. Okay, a lot of pop-ups there, guys. And I'll switch to this tab. Okay, share this tab instead. Okay, I think we're looking at it, right? Let me see if I can make this whiter. Yes, I can. All right, that's better, filling out that black space. Cool. All right, that letterboxing was annoying me. Okay, let's see. Where are the specs? All right, here we go. What's the charging speeds on the battery? It's 4,300 milliamp hour battery, wireless charging. Where did I read that? That's it? Okay, let me go back to my questions then. Should this tab instead. All right, I think I know where it is. I think I had it. I won't be able to pull it up on the screen for you guys, but I'll be able to read it. Live search app. Hey, man, shout out. Thank you for that feedback you gave over to Rumble. You probably saw that Rick also saw it, so they're taking it into account. They responded to my post. Thank you. Okay, from the settings, you can see which apps use the most battery. Yeah, now I would love to do that for the Unplugged phone, but for anybody that knows, for the long-term review, I wiped the entire phone because I was testing the self-destruct function, which I will be showing here for everybody. I did clip it out. That video is only available on YouTube. I don't have time to upload it anywhere else, but it is there. The thing is, what they're describing about a battery that heats up really bad, because unlike other devices, technically this thing has battery optimization. I want to phrase this correctly because on Android, technically with new devices, it asks you if you want to turn off battery optimization. I did not check if that's the case with the Unplugged phone, which now that it's completely wiped, I could probably check it again. But I've been having like amazing battery life on this thing, which tells me that battery optimization is probably working and not letting some stuff happen in the background. But let me just check right here. I believe it was 18-watt charging. The reason I bring that up is because different charging bricks can technically not work and can actually damage the phone. And if it's an 18-watt charger, okay, here it is. Because they had sent me the full specs of this thing, which I didn't share with anybody, but I did read the wireless charging specs. Network, design, display, touch panel, audio, available ports, memory, camera, battery. Lithium ion, removable battery, no. Quick charge, 33 watts. So it's considerably faster. So the 18-watt one was actually the one from the Brax 3 device. So this is 33-watt charging. So depending on what kind of charging brick you might have, that might be a reason for why that could have happened. But if it's two phones, like I'm saying, what are the chances that two phones have the same issue? That's my only concern in realizing that. So it could be a battery optimization issue as a live search app is weighing in over from Rumble. It could be something that I mean, the cable is important as well, since there's circuitry embedded at the end of the cable to switch between voltages and amperages. Yeah, exactly. So if someone's relying on the cable that comes within the box, then I would feel better about it, especially since it's saying 33-watt charging. The thing is, the brick itself is the concern, and I don't know if this is. I'm assuming it's a U.S. user. I know of people that have obtained the phone outside of the U.S. but they bought it from here. So that just opens up a whole other can of worms there. And the phone is technically available in Canada. So Nate Fuller, I do want to. I'm gonna I'll reply right now. We're live on the air. Um, did you use the um, cable that came with the phone? I can't type under pressure, guys. And what about the charging brick? Let's see. I'll let UP know about this. All right. Okay. So great. And thank you for chiming in there, live search. Okay. Let's see what else. That one is the walkthrough, LA fires. Uh oh, I want to reply to that one comment in public, but I might save it for catching up on things. All right, let's stick to Unplugged. All right, so this is when I shared the breaking news that Unplugged was allowing the unlocking of the phone bootloader, which is really, really big deal. They're even telling you that you can even swap out the OS. That'd be interesting to see if anybody takes them up on that from the community, because this thing has hardware that's unique to this device, and that's the hardware kill switch, and of course the privacy central button, because as of right now you cannot remap the privacy central button, and honestly I probably wouldn't do that either. Like, that's the whole claim to fame for this phone. It's privacy first, not the convenience first, if you know what I mean. But this one's from user VC4 MP6EL1G. These names, this actually sounds familiar though. I think I read this one from this person before. This news comes 2 weeks too late. I just bought a Fold Pro and installed Graphene OS. If all goes well with Unplugged, I'll buy their phone next time around. I'll continue following them closely. And I'll give you a thumbs up. So let me tell you, in one of the streams, I did share what a tip that I got from a user named Marine Brat. So Marine Brat, if you're watching, you usually chime in on Rumble, I noticed, but wherever it might be, technically, uh, you've been spot on about a few things, because apparently Marine Brat was involved very early on. I think he was one of the 500 original testers of this device the previous year, so this is like 2023. And he gave me some inside knowledge publicly, not privately, but publicly, just posting on the comment section. And he was saying that Unplug was already working and will soon announce, according to his timeline, the Unplugged Phone 2. And I do and do not believe that. I do in that, well, yes, they're already looking to the future. And I can tell you that on LinkedIn, Unplug's been hiring. So if things haven't been going well for them, they wouldn't have the money to hire. So they're getting people on board in their expansion or whatever this is, and their global rollout. And the reason I say I don't is because of that global rollout. If they're trying to get this phone to the hands of other people and break into other markets, why would you uh, create another phone and launch it right now when you can't get the current phone to other individuals? Right now is not the time to launch a new device, an Unplugged Phone 2. You want this phone to get into as many hands as possible, and they've been trying to break into the European market, and that's where kind of the holdup has been, because they broke into the Canadian market, but that's been months ago now. How long will it take for them to get to Europe? I don't know, but I can tell you there is a lot of interest for this device outside this country. And like I said in my Unplugged long-term review, if you haven't seen it, at the end of it, I play a montage, and I might pull it up for you guys to see, a montage of the high risk individuals that either work in intelligence or in some way powerful political figures, not just in this country, but outside this country, that want this phone. And some of them have been gifted this phone. And that's to say that, why are they trusting a phone that technically doesn't have any reputation before that? Because they trust the names behind it. particularly Eric Prince. That's why when Sean Ryan's gifting these phones and it's like, oh, Eric Prince did this, and they gladly accept this. So it's a really different perspective than those of us here that have allowed politics to muddle our perspective on all this. And it's very interesting that some on the right were even believing the politics when it's the ones on the right that tell us don't believe in the media. Just found that fascinating. So I did say something to that extent in my long-term review. But let's see. Let's keep going. There aren't that many questions, I think. This is from Carol C9U from 2 weeks ago. I was wondering if the Unplugged has crypto apps available and would it be a good device to secure crypto? Huh. That is. Let me toss it at some of you on the chat, especially you, Live Search, because you've seen a lot of these crypto folks online, I'm sure, like I did. And I am curious too. I don't have any cryptocurrency. I know Bitcoin's all the rage right now, but it's also very expensive to get. But there are other currencies out there. There's thousands, I think. Um, I want to say yes. Let me look at the store real quick, because there are um, certain crypto wallets. If you're looking at what is it, Cash? What's that one? I think it's called Cash something. It's Coin Wallet, is it? I think that's what it's called. But they were hacked. I had a friend that had crypto and it was hacked, and he was one of the victims that lost their cryptocurrency in that. So, yeah, well, to each their own. Let's see. Crypto. If I could spell, that would work. Well, it looks like they have Bitmart. I could tell you they have Bitmart in here, and I could probably do the search online here on their website. You know what? Let's make this better. Let me pull up. Let's go back to their website and let me pull up their store. Share this tab instead. All right, we're doing this together live. So I'm just going to type in crypto. Let's see what we got here. And for anybody watching over on locals, I think it times out at 30 minutes. So it's going to drop out from there. So I recommend you jump over to Rumble. My links should be there on local. So jump over to rumble.com and you won't miss out. And if you don't want to use Rumble, you can always go to YouTube, Twitch, X. It's all streaming there. All right. So I type in crypto and this is what pulls up on this is what's available on their app store, which is on their phone. Okay. So I recognize this Binance Custody. So it's a store crypto. There's the Kraken wallet, crypto and NFTs. Let's see, Kraken Pro. I wonder if that's something you got to pay for though. Crypto.com on chain. They have Coinbase. Coinbase, that's the one. Coinbase is here too. The blockchain.com crypto wallet. There's apparently a bunch. You know what? Let me post this link. I'm gonna do this for this person. Let me type in here is what is on their app store and reply. Okay, so I'm not in this space. Those of you that are, you would know better than I do with respects to this. There's another coin wallet there. I'm familiar with Solaris. I don't know if Solaris is in here. I think I used it once. More Kraken stuff, Qcoin, and you see those review bars at the bottom, like 1 star to 5 star. Those are not user reviews. Those are Unplugged's ratings for privacy. So you have a 5-star rating. That means it's a very private app that isn't leaching your data and stuff like that, like minimal risk. So the less stars it has, the more privacy infringing it is on your data. So just letting you know, that's what those stars mean. Those are not reviews of the apps. You could probably find those over like on Google Play Store from actual users that have been using it and reviewing it there. Okay, there's currently no user review system on Unplugged Phone App Store. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. Let's go back to the Q&A. All righty. Okay, I seriously, I get so many questions about what is the Brax 3 phone, and I'm looking forward to doing that one. Okay, that's probably next week, probably on a Thursday. I'll let you know. All right, another one for the Brax 3. This one might actually connect with it, but I'll probably weigh in on it a little later in a separate one about the clip that I put out from my video. Sarah Adams and one of the Benghazi heroes, Dave Boone Benton, talking about the terror threats to the homeland. And then the day I scheduled it, there were two attacks on the homeland, and not in the way that people are saying that. People are weighing in and just having their own opinions about it all. Kevin Fryer, 380. Thank you so very much. You did a great job. That's his take on my long-term review. Thank you. Thank you. And let's see. This is from, okay, so here we go. This from Trace Elliott 42. Let's say the company is promising, but for that price, 900, how much is it? Let me pull it up here. I'm on their page, so let me just pull it up real quick. $989. Okay. So for that price, plus the subscription to use the Unplugged suite after some time, I will wait to use it as a daily driver. Thank you for the unbiased review, Andres. You are welcome, Trace Elliott. Now, this comment is edited because the original comment was erroneously mentioned pay to use the OS. And I don't think that is I don't think that was the only person that misunderstood that, because I think there was a comment about the little later that I want to respond to. That's why I responded to this. Say, thank you for watching. Did you mean a subscription to use the UP suite of apps? And Trace said it responds, yes, my bad, I corrected it. And now Nadav458 responds, you don't need to pay for the suite. Most of the feature set currently available for free. That's actually a really good point. Let me heart that. So there are you can still use the applications after the trial period, or if you decide to cancel your subscription, the apps won't stop working. There's just features and functions within that will stop. For example, the VPN, if you're paying the subscription thing, I believe it's like unlimited data usage. But if you're using a free version, it caps how much data you are using with the VPN. After that time, then the VPN does, like, okay, you maxed out your time on the VPN space. So that's what that commenter is saying, which is true with respects to that. That includes the Unplugged Messenger. The Unplugged Messenger has a bunch of like feature sets and bells and whistles that I haven't had the user base to be able to justify me paying for the service to access all those features. So if and when I do believe it might be worthwhile. But that's something that's key to understand, and I think someone else did weigh in a little later about that too. Okay, so this was my own comment because I posted on the original Unplugged Phone review. I posted the link to the long-term review so people can check it out. All right, so this is from Alex11. Did they mention how the phone fares against Celebrite and those kinds of things, unlocking them? And Windblown 466 response, can't be unlocked if it's powered off, thus the kill switch. So, okay, let me hold off the comments that I want to say because it's kind of tangent to this. So I'll come back to this. Okay, someone already responded. I think it's a good point. I think the answer will kind of be in what I have to say a little later when I spoke to Iran. Okay, this is oh, they posted it to my actual audio version of this for the podcast. This is from Mark UX9SP. Thank you for these great reviews. I know you have explained the situation with Verizon, but I really want to try to use the Unplugged Phone on Verizon. Do you have any guess how soon it might be approved, if ever? I like the phrasing, approved. So here is my opinion about what's been happening with Verizon and Unplugged on two sides of the categories. One is the technical side. The other one is the political side. Okay, I can tell you that Unplugged did the bidding for Verizon. They asked for their upfront costs, which I believe are egregious, and that's the same thing with AT&T in order to get them on the whitelist. And Verizon just needed to approve it. That's why people were upset that those terminologies were removed from the phone listing on Unplugged, because later on they did remove that is supported on Verizon. It doesn't say that. If you go back to my early videos covering Unplugged, and I was covering their website, you'll see the text right there. It works on Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, because the modem within the phone technically does have the support for those networks. And as I used it for my review, I proved that it did. I was able to use it with voice, data, and text, no problem. I was even able to do mobile hotspot, which is for some reason a different thing when you're using it with a phone that can technically function on Verizon. I've had phones, for example, the BlackBerry Key 2 Red Edition, gorgeous, gorgeous device. Plagued with hardware issues. That's why I didn't keep it. So that one was not supported on Verizon, but I tested it on Verizon and it worked on Verizon, except I could text, but I couldn't picture message. So the MMS didn't work, SMS did. I was able to get my 4G LTE speeds on it, but I was not able to do mobile hotspot. Very odd thing. I was able to do phone calls just fine. So with the unplugged phone, I was able to use every single bit of what's in this device when it comes to network connectivity with Verizon. And then the Android 14 update happens. That's it. I can't use it on Verizon anymore. Not make calls. I can still text, SMS, and MMS, MMS, and data, but I cannot call. And believe me, I tried everything, and I even went very in depth with the configuration of this, and I sent that over to Iran and the team. And if there is a fix on their side, they said that they'll get to it if they can. I don't know if it's a priority for them. That's a different story, but I do know they are well aware of this. But I can tell you that Verizon themselves, there are two types of 4G LTE, and this is what some people don't understand. There are, I don't have my stack of phones back here, but if I were to show you, I have old BlackBerry 10 OS devices, I have Windows Phone devices, and some much older Android devices, some of my favorites. Those will not work on Verizon if I try to use them today, because like I said, there's two types of 4G devices. They say it's 4G, but then there are 4G voice over LTE, VoLTE capable. That came in later. So some devices have that feature set. Other devices don't. So the ones that don't technically don't work anymore. That's kind of how Verizon got people, just like they got people to move from a 3G device to a 4G device. They did the same thing by saying, hey, those 4G devices are not going to work anymore. You got to get a 4G voice over LTE compatible device. So you have to upgrade your device. And that's where some people left Verizon, went to other places because they wanted to keep their phones. And now just like that happened, we're going to see them say, we're not going to support those. We're going to move over to 5G entirely. It's going to happen. That's how they get people to drop their old devices and move on to the next one. It's a built-in obsolescence. If your battery dies out and you can't replace the battery anymore, you're going to have to get a new phone. Same thing with technology. Your 2G, 3G, very old 4G phones. Sorry, yo, get a new one. That's how they get you. So just letting you know that that's one of the factors that I believe comes into play here with the unplugged phone device. But I said there's another side to it. The other angle is political. I strongly believe, along with AT&T, that there's political resistance to supporting this device. There's no other way to look at it because the phone worked. What else can they do on their end when it has to be support from the other side? And the fact that this works okay with T-Mobile, the fact that it works with, I believe it works with Pure Talk. I know for a fact it works with Patriot Mobile. And when you look at these other companies, I think they're called MVNOs. They're just reselling the data traffic from the big carriers. These other carriers didn't build their own infrastructure. They're paying licensing fees to Verizon, to AT&T, to T-Mobile to borrow theirs. So if it's working on those networks, it's got to tell you that on the official networks, they're just blocking it. So that's my 2 cents in weight and all that. And I did say that in my long-term review, but I just like, you know what, just keep it to the fundamentals. So I didn't weigh all that much into it. All right. And for those of you just joining in, I see the ticker going up on YouTube. Thank you so very much. What's up, everybody? I do I'll have options for campaigns, like to do ad reads, but I'm not going to do that. At least not on this stream. But it's as time goes on, I'll try to give some shout outs, but I do want to just pause real quick and let you know that just caught my breath there. Give me a second. I need to drink some water. Okay. I have affiliates and referral links. And in the description down below, you should be able to find them. I do highlight a few, such as those that I have in the back of my shelf on my right shoulder. Ranger Candy Coffee Company. Use promo code Dangerous Segovia. Save some money at checkout. Buy some coffee. Use my promo code. Helps keep the lights on because none of this is free. That's why a lot of us are trying to make it work with Rumble because they actually care about small creators. But then I also want to mention the Goat Farm. That is a special link of mine. There's no promo code for that. Natural skincare, goat milk derived, and I highly recommend them. Great people. I know both of the folks that run these companies, and it's been great to get to know them over the years. And more recently, Vibey Soap Company. So shout out to Chrissy. Thank you so much. Your vegan soaps are a piece of art. And that's why I don't want to use the soaps, and they smell absolutely amazing. And because I gifted some of that to my in-laws. For those who don't know, I'm married to a Taiwanese, so my in-laws are in Taiwan. And I'm like, hey, guess what? Your products are now officially in Taiwan. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm crying. So support these small business companies. That's redundant. Support these small businesses. I'm a small business owner myself. I work in construction, real estate, and property management. And believe me, in California, they make it really, really hard. But if you could support them and help support me at the same time, fantastic. Alrighty, we're going to proceed on in finishing this up. And I do have some other links I'm going to share that are along with this topic. But there's just so many questions I want to answer here too, but it has nothing to do with Unplugged. This is from Johansson Badu 1711. Great review. I will be ordering this phone soon. Do you happen to know what smartwatches are compatible with this device? Okay, so I will respond in. Did I respond to this one? Hey, what happened here? I just clicked on reply. Let me go back to where it was. Okay, so let me tell you all what I've been able to test this with. I used it, and it's in my long-term review too. I used it with Samsung smartwatches, but specifically the Tizen powered OS watches. I have not tried it with what is it? Wear OS, because Wear OS is Google. So if it's Google, technically you need Google Play services for it, which this phone lacks. So I haven't bothered trying it out because I gotta wipe the watch and reset the whole thing, and it's a pain. So I didn't do that. But I can tell you that I'm gonna try with Garmin. Garmin is on the App Store, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go back to the App Store. Let me share this again. So Garmin, I believe, is one of them. There it is, Garmin Connect. Oh, fantastic! They have the whole library here. I assumed that it would because this is a cross-platform watch. It's not just like Google Android. It's actual Android, and I heard of people using their Garmin watch on the Google Pixel devices. So I have to believe it'll work with this one. And for Christmas, my company got me a Porsche design Garmin watch. I think I did an unboxing of that. No, or maybe I didn't. But I wasn't intending on testing it. And I'll talk about some tech that I did get that I haven't got around to. And you tell me if you want me to review it. But Garmin Connect, I will try this out, and I'm excited to do so because I'll be very curious to see if Garmin Pay, which is tap to pay on the watch, curious, will it work here? Because if it does, hey, we have a tap to pay solution for a wearable. So it looks like, yes, Garmin should technically be able to work. So let me reply to this user. Let's see here. Tizen powered Samsung watches do, and I believe Garmin too. All right. Another, the Brax 3 phone, telling you, Daniel B 333, you were the first one to chime in on the YouTube chat on this stream. So here's your comment on my long-term review. Andres, please let the developers of Unplugged know that we want a physical headphone jack, no wireless headphones. I miss having a smartphone with a physical jack, and I'll heart that. And I did say that, I believe, in a long-term review. When, there's a segment in the long-term review where I said what I want to see in the Unplugged phone too. That's why I kind of hope they haven't actually finalized those plans. Because I'm like, look, guys, for this price range, I need to see some water resistance on this guy. There was a different user that chimed into my YouTube comments, and I haven't been able to find it. It's buried somewhere around the thousands of comments that y'all left on my unplugged stuff. But in that one, they said they were asking me, "Hey, how do I activate the kill switch?" I'm like, "Well, you use a pin to do that." And then they responded, "Okay, great, because I dropped my phone in water, so I want to separate from the battery and put it in rice." So I did reply to that user and I asked, "Well, did it work? I'm really curious." And that's precisely the point, folks. That with it's a $1,000 investment with taxes, and just a splash of water could, you know, end it all. So that's my big takeaway from this. While there's no repairability function, while there's no like a warranty you can buy for this thing for, repairs or replacements, that's the concern. I need to see that. It's not enough for a phone at this price range to not have some form. And I'm not saying it has to be like certified IP whatever XX thing there, because OnePlus did the same thing, but the only reason they were able to keep their prices kind of low even when there was some water resistance on it, but not officially, is because the certification for that is expensive. And just like I just said, that Verizon and AT&T were charging for them to be able to add Unplugged on their whitelist, and in some cases they still didn't. It just makes things more expensive. And for a startup company, I didn't expect them to be water resistant. That's why I was very careful with this device. And believe me, I have little kids, and we're at the table. These cups, even the adults make this mistake of spilling their drink. And believe me, this happened so many times. I even had this one time where this waiter, was it a waitress, dropped some water while trying to fill up my cup, and I had my phone. They're like, "Oh my gosh!" And they were panicked. I'm like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I just, shook off the water. It's water resistant." Like, there you go. And I'm okay. Let me. I need to express myself here. I didn't say this anywhere except for my Instagram followers. They know this. I have the iPhone 15 Pro. This is a replacement though. Conveniently, and I've expressed this for years whenever I cover any kind of tech. You see Samsung, you see Apple and others showing the water resistance of these phones. Do you remember the videos of Lil Wayne just dropping champagne over one of the Samsung devices? It's like, "Oh, that's fantastic, throw it in the pool," or whatever it is. The most recent OnePlus, it's so exaggerated, but OnePlus throwing the phone into a freaking boiling pot of pasta or into a dishwasher, even the washer, like the actual laundry washing machines. I'm like, dude, this is insane, because they're so confident in it. But here's the thing: they blame you for any water damage. They have stickers inside these devices. They're white stickers, and they change color when water makes contact with it. Well, in the case of my Apple 15 Pro device, conveniently it was out of warranty, and all of a sudden I thought that I thought my screen on the front was dirty. So right here you can see a blackout screen, right? But there was a white spot right there where the front-facing camera is. Like, that's interesting. Condensation built up in the front camera and the back, and I have no idea how that happened, because every now and then the condensation will leave. It didn't make any contact with water as far as I knew. It wasn't dropped or anything of the sort, but condensation was built up. And then I'm like, don't tell me it's gonna be my fault because there's water damage all of a sudden on this thing. I take it to the Apple store. They tell me, "Yeah, we've seen this problem before." Okay, great. So they know what to do here. But you're out of warranty and you don't have Apple Care anymore. So it's an out of pocket repair. And in this case, we have to replace it. It'll be $650. But this phone is supposed to be water resistant, and it wasn't exposed to the elements, but it's my fault. That's exactly what I've said for years. That's what these companies do. Same thing with Samsung. That's what, when there's been a cracked display, I even have an entire vlog devoted to my repair of an HTC phone, which was a nightmare, by the way. And another one was the repair of my Samsung phone when they started opening these Samsung stores. There were only 3 open in the entire country. Two were in New York, one was in Los Angeles, Wilshire Boulevard. That store has long since closed. And whenever I've gone to get an actual repair from a Samsung certified place, I'm like, you guys are Samsung certified, so you give me the Samsung warranty, right? They say yes. Then I tell them that before I had to do this with the Samsung repair shop, and it was the only one on the West Coast. And they told me that no, that's not true. I'm like, dude, I came back with my YouTube channel. Like, this is my vlog of when I did this. I know more than you. So I hate it when people tell me they know more when they don't. So anyway, I don't get worked up on that. But yeah, so Daniel Bai, I have mentioned that. I would love to see a physical jack. And honestly, I don't most MediaTek devices they bring the physical jack. I am wondering though if they sacrifice the physical jack in order to get the battery kill switch there because that is a physical mechanism. That might be why it's not there. What a bummer. Ah, I do have this though. Ironically, I have it here. So this is a dongle. It's for USB to turn it into a USB jack. So, well, there's a solution for you, Daniel. If there's one way, take the phone, place the dongle within, and now headphone jack. And it has to be a specific dongle that has some kind of DAC in it for digital audio codecs and all. So just thought you weigh in on that. All right, let's proceed. And thank you for those of you that are still watching over on Twitch, YouTube. I don't know if it's still on locals. It says that it's still streaming to locals. That's cool. Rumble, of course. Let's see. See, so many people are weighing in on the Brax 3 device because I know so many of you are curious, especially for that $300 price tag. Excuse me, $299. I know, and there was an update pushed out, and I reached out to the team at Lunar Tech that are developing the device, hoping to hear from them soon enough. Okay, so this is from Caleb Similion. All right, I love it. I just use YouTube and basic phone functions. I can even download Snapchat and use it, which is awesome considering how it will give you notifications saying how it won't work and it needs Google Play, but it does. Oh, really? So let me hit this. No more ads relating to something I just talked about 5 minutes before. No more weird corporation BS. Alrighty, I'll give you a heart. Thank you for watching my video. This is from the Unplugged, the original review. This is from Susie Hartwright. Thank you for making this video. How did you download the Amazon App Store on Unplugged Phone? I couldn't find it on the Aurora Store or F-Droid. I downloaded an app on Aurora, and when I tried to open it, it said something went wrong. Check the Google Play is enabled on your device, and then you're using an up-to-date version before opening the app. If that problem persists, try reinstalling the app. At this point, I wish I could just fully make this Unplugged Phone a fully functional Android phone because I can't use it like the other phones. I have basically wasted $1,000. Is it possible to erase their operating system and put a regular Android operating system on it instead? Soon. This is actually going to need a longer reply, so I'll probably reply a little bit. Hold on. Oh, but yeah, I'll send the link to download the App Store and things. It's just I totally get it. I totally get it. And it looks like they just got this phone too. So, Susie, Heartrate, if you're watching this, get ready to dive deep into my entire playlist of unplugged coverage that is available on both YouTube and Rumble. Um, Hours worth. And I believe I answered your question at some point, but I'll take some time to reply to this too. This was actually a recent comment 4 days ago from when I do this live. Bought the Unplugged Phone. Do this first. Cyber XP. No headphone jack. Which I replied, sadly, no. That's interesting. I didn't see Susie's response before. This one's from the Unplugged Phone App Store experience and other app stores. This is from Skygazer7. A recent comment too. Unplugged Phone is a wonderful idea, but if I have to pay a monthly fee for the apps, I'll never purchase one. All right, so technically this is a variation of a question I just answered. You still have functionality over them. You don't lose access to the apps. This kind of goes with everything and actually brings up a good point. You know how Apple's pushing Apple Intelligence, their AI and all that stuff. So is Samsung. You know what Samsung didn't announce at the Unpacked event last year and people had to read the fine print with Galaxy AI? I use Galaxy AI. I use it to enhance so many things, to create some of my content, especially for social media. Some of my thumbnails even. I use Galaxy AI to help me do it. And I love Galaxy AI for what it does. and I could do it on the phone without having to send it to a server somewhere else. In the case of Apple, in the case of Microsoft, that's all going to their servers. And they're promising you that they're not looking at it. Sure you're not. How else do you make this thing stronger? Why do you think Elon Musk bought a gold mine with Twitter? All of that data so he can develop Grok and see how quickly they're developing that so they can be a competitor to OpenAI. And I did invite a guest on. I haven't heard back because I want to talk about AI with them, especially because they're all in on DeepSeek. I'm like, well, we'll see. But anyway, what Samsung didn't say was that Galaxy AI is free for a limited time. So all of these features that have been introduced with Galaxy AI, such as like some kind of call screening or call translation or photo enhancements or doodling or cleaning up and summarizing your voice recording notes and all that, fantastic stuff. I love all those helpful feature sets. But I'm gonna have to pay for it at the end of this year, and you still haven't said how much. We just had a Galaxy Unpacked event where you made the S25 Ultra a lesser device by removing some features from there, which I made a video about that, by the way. And then you didn't say how much this is gonna cost because I know what you're doing. Everybody knows what you're doing. You don't want to be the first to say it. Someone's gonna have to say it. So we'll see who will be the first company to commit financial suicide and say what to charge for these things. Because Gemini is not free for all. You have to pay to use more. There's Gab AI. Gab is very limited. The Gab AI is very limited unless you pay to get all this access. And everything that I've seen on anyone has been offering these pro packs for AI, that's expensive. I thought Gab AI was expensive, but then I look at Gemini. I said, dude, you're not that cheaper. You're probably the same price. These guys are AI is expensive. The resources it takes, and the way everything's going, they're all going to be charging for these services. But I'm alarmed at just how much Samsung might put behind a paywall for features that I'm so used to using now. And that's not cool because, well, they removed the Bluetooth functionality from the S Pen, and like I said in my, will Samsung kill the S Pen altogether? What I mean by that is they'll do what they did to the foldables. It's outside. There's no silo to put it back in. It's outside through a freaking attachment case. That's what I think they would do if they keep going with this trajectory. The Ultra lineup used to be the one before called the Note, where they throw everything in the kitchen sink at it. And now it's continuously stripped down. And I do not like that. It's a really big concern for me, especially with rumors that they're going to kill DeX. I don't always use DeX, but I'm glad that it's there. Why do you have to kill it if it's just a switch? You're not adding features to it. Just leave it alone. Ugh. Let's see. That comment was from 2 days ago, and that's the last comment. All right, I got through the comments. Thank you for those of you that are still watching across the platforms. I don't know how many of you are watching on X, but for those of you on Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and apparently still locals, I gotta check this out once I wrap this. That's cool. Actually, it'd be really, really nice if they did do that. But let me pull up my notes because now I can move on to. I'll show you my clip of the self-destruct that I did. So I'm gonna let this clip play as I'm setting up the other camera, okay? Because I do want to show you the beta firmware for the Unplugged phone that makes this thing feel like a more complete device. But first, let me do this. I just clipped it out from my long-term review. So for those of you that haven't seen my long-term review, you might not have seen this clip. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I do this. Just make sure I bring it over here. There we go. I'm gonna close this one out. And now let me share. I need to share this clip. Okay. Now, hopefully it won't be too loud for y'all, but yeah. Okay. I'll let this play and I'll get back to you here in a moment. So while Unplugged did earn my trust, like Ronald Reagan says, you got to verify. So I put in the unplugged phone right there as soon as the stuff destructs. That sounds funny, but just in case. Hold on, I'm back. I'm just making sure that you guys can hear it. Because I had some things on mute. Okay. All right, I'll resume. Buckets of water over there. You're on. You said it wouldn't, so let's see what happens. Okay, let me get down here. Making sure it's recording. All right, so the way it's supposed to work is that now I have two pin codes to unlock this phone. One is to unlock, the other one is to wipe it. So the code I put is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Not ready to hit it yet, but I'm gonna unlock the phone first. So I unlocked the phone just fine with the unlock code. So now I'm gonna put the code to wipe it. Okay. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and cross your fingers. So the phone wiped itself, like it said it would. I filmed it on the other camera. I took, but I should be welcomed by the welcome page. There it is. Then that's your demonstration of the self-destruct feature on the unplugged phone. Alrighty. Okay, so good thing. If you guys haven't seen my long-term review, by all means check it out. I might put a link down below for you guys to see it. It's available on everything, Rumble, YouTube, and that. It's only like 15 minutes long. I kept it short. Again, I record like 6 hours worth of footage, but I kept it short. So now I'm gonna change this background because I did get the camera up and running. I do want to, well, before I show you that, I do want to show you the a sneak peek at what's in the next update for the unplugged phone and why it feels like a more complete device now. But before I do that, let me pull up these other pages and then I'll tell you what I explained to Aaron. Okay, I'll actually explain it while I'm going over this page right here. So let me open, present. All right, and Aaron Carpin is writing most of these blog posts when it comes to the device features. So I recommend you guys go check it out. Sign up to the newsletter if you haven't done so already, if you're really interested in it, because it's there's a lot of great information there. All right, so on January 17th, I even told Aaron, I was like, dude, I'm trying to finish my review, man. Can you stop putting so many updates out so quick? Because I can't keep up, man. Because he was saying, hey, it's coming. I got a bunch of stuff that's going to be dropping. And yeah, but I didn't know it's going to be like every few days. Give me a chance to breathe. It's like all this winning we're experiencing in the United States, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so unplug to allow unlocking of unplugged phone bootloader. So this answers the question that I think Susie Hartray was asking. Moving towards open source. Initially, we maintained a locked bootloader approach to prioritize security and reduce potential risks. However, we realized that many of our users value not just privacy but also freedom. Yes, the freedom to control the devices fully. After engaging with our passionate community, we decided to enable bootloader unlocking on Unplugged Phone in Q1 of 2025. So that means we have just over 50 days left of seeing this feature drop, and I can tell you, I fully believe that they will deliver on their promises. They basically deliver on everything else. I even highlight all the promises that they have kept, that I have them on the record from the CEO, the CTO, the COO, and stuff that they said in private. They've all delivered on it. So they're being forward and open, which is why I'm disappointed that other such companies in the same privacy OS space have not given it a chance because of freaking politics. So anyway, this change isn't just about unlocking a feature, it's about unlocking potential. So let's check this out. The value of bootloader unlocking: empowering user freedom. Advanced users and developers will have full control over their Unplugged Phone, allowing them to install custom operating systems or fine-tune the existing OS to suit their needs. That sounds to me like somebody that wants to install micro G so they can get Google Play services on this thing might be able to do so. Number two, transparency and trust. By allowing bootloader unlocking, we align with open source values, fostering deeper trust in our platform and enabling third-party audits. And number three, enhanced security research. Security experts and researchers can inspect, test, and improve Unplugged Phone software, helping us uncover vulnerabilities and improve our systems. So what say you, Graphene OS, to this? What say you? They look, a lot of the Graphene OS groupies out there, they keep copying and pasting their same freaking complaint, even though they're super wrong at times, on my Unplugged Phone videos. I'm surprised they didn't do that for my long-term review. But Graphene OS, and I'm bringing this up now. Oh my goodness, what is the user's name? If I could find it, they tagged me on a thread they were involved in, and Graphene OS ends up weighing in, which is why I'm like, why have they been ignoring my requests to be on my show? Because that's what it feels like, that I've been ignored. Sorry, just saw this stupid post. I don't know if I should share that. Okay, fine. I'll share it because it's so stupid. So this is what greets me when I open X. You never know what you're gonna get. But Roz alerts over there. It's I never heard of that. Today is National Shower with Your Friend Day. Oh man, that's so dumb. I remember seeing these shirts that said "Save water, shower with a friend." It's just anyway. What's your name, dude? Light something. I don't remember the user's name. I hope you're watching. I know he's a follower of mine. It's just that among 700 and something followers, I can't. Thank you for those who follow me on X. I can't find it. All right, so I can't find that. I'm not gonna waste my time and your time searching for it. So let me paraphrase. It had something to do with your phone never being truly private, because so long as you have a phone and you're connected to one of the major carriers, they can always snoop in on your calls, on your texts and your data. So if they can do that, then what is the point of having a privacy OS focused device if there'll always be that vulnerability? And Rob Braxman actually has an entire video on how you can circumvent that, ex facto making your own network, so to speak. Like you're running your own carrier service in a way, combined with like VPNs and whatever. Like, man, that's very techy. But something that Rob recently said in one of his posts, it's like, I think you're overthinking your value if you're really concerned that the government is trying to hunt you down and trying to check your trying to hack you and stuff. I'm like, I know, right? It's just I have been the subject of hacking. Okay, I've been targeted a lot, especially because I talk about certain sensitive topics such as Benghazi. And stay tuned for my latest interview. In fact, I have two. One has already been recorded. The next one is we're still trying to work out the date. So the next one is with one of the investigators on the Benghazi committee. And that one's already set. I was going to drop it today, but instead I'm doing the stream, so I'm intending to drop it tomorrow. Okay. But The other one is with uh, the last of the four public GRS that were heroes that night. John Tick. I don't know if I said Tick. Tigan. So he's agreed to come on my show, and we haven't worked out when that's going to happen, but he's agreed to come on my show. So I need to address some of the controversies that happened at the beginning of the year. Stay tuned for that, and make sure you're like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out whenever it is that I drop that notice. Okay, so anyway, so building your own network is the only way you're really going to have full control over your anonymity. So unless you're going to that extreme, it's not going to happen. And in this thread, that's when Graphene OS jumped in to say that they have their own things, and we're actually, I think they were criticizing once again everybody else. It's like we're the best, and you guys are not us. I really feel that's been their attitude, and the way they treated Unplugged, the way they treated Rob Braxman. It's uncalled for, but they do, and that's again, that's a sour taste in my mouth. You guys can go check out my video where I do the um, where I de-Google a Pixel 7 Pro device, and in there I explain why I decided to go with Calypso OS over Graphene OS, and things like that. But I love Graphene OS and the feature set, but just the community at large, and just, man, just be careful what you're getting into. So anyway, and speaking of community, engaging with community, the decision is not the end. It is the beginning of a collaboration, says Iran. We're excited to see what our community can achieve with an unlocked bootloader. What custom operating systems will emerge? What innovative features might be developed? What lessons can we learn and potentially integrate back into the core Unplugged Phone experience? We encourage developers, security enthusiasts, and power users to share their experiences, projects, and ideas with us. And here's the good part: warranty and responsibility. We want to clarify one critical point. Unlocking the bootloader will not void your hardware warranty. Hardware issues will still be covered under our warranty policy, even if the bootloader is unlocked. However, we do encourage users to proceed with care, as software modifications could potentially impact device security or functionality. So yeah, and he closes out by saying, looking ahead, this isn't just a technical update, it's a commitment to openness, collaboration, and shared innovation. By unlocking the bootloader, we're unlocking creativity, security enhancements, and the potential to redefine privacy-focused mobile technology. Amen and amen. Okay, let me bring this to just myself for now, as I got the other camera up myself, but I want I spoke with Iran after I shared with him the long term review, and I did share with Eric Prince too. So they're both the co-founders of Unplugged. And for those wondering, I've been trying to reschedule Eric Prince. We couldn't make it work in January, so hopefully maybe February. And he's used to doing live interviews, so if I do one of these lives, maybe I'll do it then. But just letting you know that it's not a closed thing. We're still trying to make it happen. If I was one of the biggest channels, then of course it'll be a lot easier to book him on the show. But being a small town creator, they got to make time. And I know I'm asking a lot when they're also coming on my show. So I don't take that for granted, and I don't try to take advantage of anybody in that respect. But I was speaking to Iran because I did tell him, like, hey man, this, in case you weren't aware, but I'm assuming you are because this is the sector that you work in, a grave concern. And I said this to some of my friends that work in intelligence, and I told them, look, this video from Rob Braxman is very important about just how end-to-end encryption is basically kaput. So Rob's been talking about it for some time, but he finally put it into a summary right after Christmas. And that's the one I shared to my friends. And they're like, we didn't know. Thank you so much for sharing. I know, especially if you're trying to get a phone like this, then what is the point? So I told them, look, that's what you're going to try to circumvent. You guys built in features into this device that I actually really like. And I'm hoping that others can actually mimic, because that's innovation in the privacy space, from hardware to certain software features. Particularly that self-destruct thing was pretty cool. And I'll give you some other things here as we're going to do the walkthrough. Okay. So what ended up happening was I told them, I'm sure you know about this, how Windows Copilot PCs and what Mac is doing, Macintosh is doing with Apple Intelligence, including the iPhones and all that. It's like you can do everything you can on your end, but the receiving end, what if they're not doing that? It's just like, yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I don't want them to track me. But guess what? If my friends are taking pictures of me, uploading to Facebook, All I gotta do is just go on there, and their facial recognition that they introduced over a decade ago. Where it's, hey, you're that guy over here. Do you want to tag yourself in your friends' pictures? See, that's the thing. You can do the best to your ability to protect you, to guard your privacy, your data. But then what happens when everybody else around you isn't doing it? Then it's almost feels like it was all for nothing. So in the case of high risk individuals and sensitive communications and things like that, I'm very careful how I communicate digitally. By the way, I'm like, you guys might want to be careful with this because you're taking the care. That doesn't mean the other side is. Case in point, Sean Ryan was in shock. Not only was he freaked out because was the other guy Samosaur or whatever that he got the manifesto from the Cybertruck bomber, and apparently this guy also tried to reach out to Sean Ryan. That when they filmed within 2 days, they filmed that episode. Sean took a break in the middle of that episode, and they found the correspondence that this other guy, the Cybertruck bomb at the Trump Las Vegas, uh, it was in junk mail. Okay, so he did try reaching out, even LinkedIn. Oh, no, LinkedIn was the DEA. But the thing is, the part that bothered him, how did the government know? And this is Sean, who takes care of his stuff, okay? It's like, how did the government know he was going to be putting this out there if he was communicating like through secure channels, supposedly, with his guest? Well, how did Tucker Carlson and James O'Keefe's signals get hacked by NSA? There are back doors. There always have been. The whole Telegram issue recently. It's like Pavlov, that guy's his name, right? The CEO of Telegram. Well, he was arrested in France. Well, what came of it? He's like, oh no, it's because you're harboring this and you're facilitating this on your platforms. Like, he's not responsible for that, but they're saying we need access to it. What was the big takeaway? Something that I've told you before. He said, but you already have access. To which then the French responded to saying, but not enough. So here's the thing. You're trusting somebody else to guard your data. And what have they done to actually earn your trust? And I summarized that for the Unplugged phone, and I even told Aaron, I was like, dude, I hope you get to taking like steps to safeguard this because of what the nature of what you do for a living, not just your business model. That's separate. It's not about what you do for a living, who you are, the people that work with you, that co-founded this company, and all that. These are all a lot of them are high risk individuals. Eric Prince, for example, so like you guys need to know. I mean, the reason you're building this for. This is why you guys need to be aware of this, and they were. And he's assured me that they're trying to find a way to address it and hopefully incorporate that into the phone too. I'm like, you do that, you're answering, you're really answering that see a need, feel a need. We don't have BlackBerry anymore. I want them to be the BlackBerry, not the BlackBerry that screwed up the hardware division, and now they just focus on software for government and healthcare and automobile automotion and all that, like QNX and all that. And so they're the most secure. You don't often hear of a BlackBerry getting hacked. Yes, they're still around, just not in the hardware. But you guys are bringing it to the consumer. What Apple used to promise, they're now the most egregious of, like, you thought Facebook's bad. So is Apple. Egregiously invading your privacy. So if the rumors hold true that not just an Unplugged Phone 2 is in the works, that there may be developing an Android tablet, I'm like, okay. I mean, I wouldn't put all my chips in there, but if it's just a bigger Android device, you got the economies of scale, why not? I mean, just go ahead and do it. I mean, it's an easier thing to build, considerably speaking, because you're not having to worry about a phone modem and then carrier support and all that. But if you are building a laptop, is it Linux? Will it be a Windows computer? I want to see that materialize. And it will truly be that this is beyond phones. They're not just another mobile carrier. They're trying to build secure devices because they see a need to fill a need. They're not the only ones in this space, but they are more consumer facing than others, which is the big deal. And I would love to see that. And I will love to pick Eric Prince's brain if that happens. Wink, wink. So I'll make sure to bring that up. Now, I've gone on long, but I'm still gonna. I promised that I would. I mean, I set up the camera for a reason. So let me give you a sneak peek at this. I'm going to have to share this other thing. Share this tab. Let me go back to this because then I'm going to share the screen here. So join the Unplugged Firmware Beta program. This is open to anybody that has an unplugged phone. However, I do not recommend that you do this if you're using it as your daily driver. Yours truly is not, therefore I can. And I would love, I will report back. I might even clip this part out. So this next part is actually more like a recording session because I'm going to clip this out and make it its own clip to post across the video platforms. So it shows you how to join the firmware beta program. So for those of you that are interested, you do have to be signed into the device. I found out about this after I wiped the phone. So after I wiped the phone, I didn't sign in. I tried to get to the beta program. I couldn't because you needed to update the firmware apps. Well, all of the apps in order to get access to this. So I needed to sign back into the phone. And I will show you the aftermath of having wiped the phone and then joining the firmware beta program. So then that's how you do it, and what to expect from the beta program. Beta program updates are designed to be stable but may still carry a small risk of certain features not functioning as intended. By opting into the beta program, you agree to take the risk in exchange for early access to new developments. Okay, so the beta updates, they are stable. The release candidate updates. So there's two of them. There's beta updates and the release candidate. These are near final builds, typically released a few days before the upcoming official hardware. They represent a very stable version, and unless critical issues are found, they're expected to transition to the public release seamlessly. I am testing the beta updates, okay? So I'm going to the more, if it has bugs, whatever. Let me see it. Let me test it. So the important notes for beta participants, no rollback options. So the beta firmware updates generally cannot be rolled back to a previous version. Future updates, beta firmware will always be eligible for an upgrade to the next official firmware release. And the automatic updates, the automatic firmware check, update check in the firmware manager only checks for official firmware updates. To install beta or RC updates, you'll need to check manually through the beta menu. All right, so why join in? Experience new features and enhancements before anyone else, play a vital role in shaping the Unplugged Phone's future, collaborate with a community of passionate and early adopters. So I can tell you that, yes, I want to help shape up the future. I do intend to support them even beyond that. I'd like to see what else they do, because they, like I told them, you guys have earned my trust, and they're always welcome to come on my show. So I've been talking to Ryan, and who knows, Aaron, if you want to come back on, I haven't officially invited you yet, but hey, you're always going to come on, right? And I'm sure we had a blast last time, so we could do that again. All right, so let me stop sharing this. I'm going to put a different background now because we're going to do, I think we're going to do this. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to try to stay in frame for this one. Okay, let me get like this. You bring it up. I'm going to try to do this a little quicker, because there's not really much to show without doing a deep dive. Okay, so the Unplugged Phone, and I will clarify a couple of things that I mentioned in my long-term review that I said I was going to clarify. I will still clarify them. So for those of you still watching, thank you for your patience. I'm just checking to make sure that no one else chiming in the live chat. Alrighty, this is the new wallpaper. I gotta tell you, I like the look. I even told them, like, man, that is a nice wallpaper. To which someone on X chimed in, you have access to future builds? To which I said, yes, I do. So let me give a shout out to the proper, I'm going to give the shout out to the proper attributes there. Okay, so let me start off by telling you what's here and what isn't. So let me see. Will it do it? No? Okay. All right. I'm going to go to settings. This is something that I mentioned in my long-term review that actually already existed on a September firmware update, and that's always on display. So I'm going to clarify what I meant about the always on display. I did put it in the video description of the long-term review, but I'm assuming not many people actually check the description down below. But always on display, it should be able to work now. There it is. Always on display, and the numbers, letterings bounce in different places of the screen. The thing about the always on display that I meant I meant to say dynamic always on display. So what dynamic means, if you're not familiar with it, it's what Apple is doing with it. It's where you can actually use the screen, but like a one, like instead, if you have a 120 megahertz screen refresh rate, it could drop it all the way down to one to save on battery, but you get to like put pictures and things on the front of the screen. That's what I meant about always on display. This was already a thing since September of 2024. So what all I meant to say was to be able to do more with it, to be able to like, well, have more usability of the always on display. And it would, it would hit the battery, but I, with those that can. All right, let me see. And I want to give a shout out to you. Brought this up. Um, Oh, by the way, go check out my interview with Jeff Dornick at Pickaxe. That was a great conversation. So this was from Trump Train Hobo. So, are you getting early updates for Unplugged Phone? It's all caps, by the way. And I said, yes, I'm enrolled in their firmware beta testing program. Okay, so shout out to you. So you could see, I was just buying some time so you could see the numbers kind of bounce around. So this is the clock and the date. That's what you could see on the always on display. Okay, and let me close out the other stuff so I don't be distracted. Okay, now let's proceed. What does this have that I wanted to see? I said I want to double tap to wake. So, where is it? It's here now. It's in the beta. Double tap to wake. So I was right. It is a software update. It works and doesn't work. Hence, for why it's beta. I've been able to get it to work. Something that doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the lift to wake and I'm going to turn on tap to wake. So lift to wake means that the screen will turn on as soon as I pull up the phone. Tap to wake is meant to wake up with a literal double tap. So there's the always on display, double tap, voila. So it doesn't play nice when I have lift to wake. Let me see if I could duplicate it. So right now, there's the always on display, double tap. Hey, it worked this time. So it's beta because it doesn't always work. Sometimes it doesn't know if it wants me to tap to wake or lift to wake, so it doesn't do either of them. But right now in front of the camera, because I'm toggling the switches on and off, it worked. But as soon as you just get going with the device, either or will not work. Hence why it's beta. But I am collecting data about this to be able to share with the team over there because I love what you're doing. Just these two features alone, the tap to wake, lift to wake, and of course, clarifying that always on display is there. I can tell you that this feels like a complete package now. So when the phone gets out to the software gets out to stable release, and they do release it, people buying the phone once that software is available are getting basically a more full experience that I've come to expect whenever I'm out there buying a phone, because these little things, well, that's what I got so used to using over the years that when I double tap and it's not waking up, or listen to wake and it wasn't waking up, or always on display. These are features that were introduced over time, but the beta introduces the tap to wake feature that I so wanted to, because I don't have to pick up the phone when it's right there. Just double tap, it's sitting there, voila. I don't have to do anymore. So that's all to say that for the past year since I got on this phone, that it's felt like a work in progress. It feels like the more polished experience, and this is what we wanted to see from Unplugged Phone. And for those of you that have been very patient with this product, you've been part of this journey, because I too have not liked being part of a pilot project only to be disappointed by the lack of support. Looking at you, Microsoft, with the Surface Duo and everything Windows Phone related. But that's not the case here with Unplugged. They pour love, sweat, and tears into this, and I could see the fruits of their labor and what they've been able to do. Now, I need to call this out though. I want to highlight one thing. This is a completely wiped phone. I had to sign in to my account in order to be able to get the firmware. Let's see if there's a firmware update. Let me see. Where is the firmware button? Right there. Let's see. Do we have an update? No updates found. Okay, well, it says I gotta go to the beta updates. So where would that be? Huh. Is it this? There we go. Warning. These settings are. I have to reactivate the beta. So you got to tap the unplugged logo multiple times. I understand the risks. So release beta. I want beta. So I didn't realize that I had to do this again after I did all the updates. So let's do this. Check for updates. Are there any? No. So there's no other beta update at the moment. And okay, cool. Let me see. Do I got to do that every time though? Yeah. So I have to tap here on the logo and you get the warning if you're part of the beta. And you have the latest firmware manager update. So that's how you check for the beta release. That's the one I want. And you could do a local install if you actually are part of the developer team and you have the software. You can sideload it, which I think would be faster because I gotta tell you, it took like, is it 3 to 5 hours just to get this thing on beta? I hope you guys can fix that, yo, because that took forever. But anyway, one of the things I said I wanted to highlight is it wiped the phone when I did the self-destruct, right? You guys all saw it. I played the video. And for those of you still watching, YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, thank you. But here's what it didn't erase. And I didn't see an option anywhere that says that you want to delete the SD card too. So when I pulled this back up, I'm like, wait, why do I have pictures in here? It was showing me that I had my pictures in my SD card. So did I take the SD card out? Let me check. Because I might have taken it out again. Let me pull this out for a moment. That's the grid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was right there. Let me close this up again. The pictures that I took on this phone for my long-term review, and I was deleting other stuff too. They appeared on the camera. So there they are. They were on the SD card, so they didn't wipe. I made sure to unload all that first before, doing the self-destruct. So those pictures were on the camera and through the camera app, were stored on the SD card because I had set that way, so I wouldn't use up the onboard storage. And right there, you saw that it's still there. So I'm sure they're working on that and they'll clarify it. So for the team over at Unplugged, if you're watching this, which I believe you might be, we need that addressed because that's still a security concern. If you're using your SD card, if you're sideloading your documents, your pictures, your other stuff over there, and if they take this thing apart, like, oh, you wiped the memory, then they pull out the SD card, they'll still be able to get it. So just a big fat advisory warning there. It doesn't erase the SD card. So I might try that again. I might try the self-destruct and see if it works a little different with the beta program. I just gotta do the whole function. Let's go to privacy center. Let me see. Do I have to unlock it? Yeah, I unlock it. Okay, privacy center. Guess I have to unlock it. There it is. So I have to unlock to get to self-destruct. So in order to do that, you activate it, then you got to build all these other codes. You need to have the screen lock on it first, and then you'll be able to do the second pin to be able to erase it all. But I didn't find any option here at the time that lets you wipe the SD card. And I'll look through my video again when I did it because I don't remember seeing that as an option. So team, please make note of that because people are using SD cards like I was on this thing. And I think, guys, this was I think I covered everything I needed to say about Unplugged. Yeah, I got through the questions. I said my long-term review was supposed to be my last video on Unplugged. It's not. I'll clip this out about what we just did, and I'll upload it separately as a clip for people to see what the beta firmware is looking like. But I'm going to do a deeper dive to see what other stuff was there. Anything changed with the camera and things like that. Oh, it's the camera. That's right. I didn't show you that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this back up for you guys because I brought this up earlier. I was trying to show you the camera. When you launch the camera by default, why is it not focused? Come on, focus. Okay, when you launch the camera by default, it goes to the main shooter. Up here is this square. It says AI. When you tap it, it says Smart Photo is on. and that's what is able to determine like it reads if what kind of time of day it is like it's just dark, low light, and things like that. And I did share some of the pictures that I took with that feature on, and apparently that thing's been on. It's been on there since I did my first review, so I overlooked it. Uh, but it wouldn't have changed my conclusions of the camera. I was just letting you know that I did discover that this time, but where I did notice a change, because that's only available on the main shooter. It's not available on the other shooters. So when you go over to say high res, it's not there. Okay. So on the beauty, it's not there. It's only available on the main camera. Now it appears. Okay. And there are a lot of camera features on this thing too, which you can also use. And I went over them earlier. So there's a lot of functions and features you can use this. If you are a photographer, you can take a better advantage of this because you understand bokeh, you understand exposure rates, you understand the oh my goodness, I said what I need to say. But yeah, you understand all that, and you'll be able to get better pictures than most. And just thought I share all that because it's very cool that you can take advantage of these cameras. I think they're really good cameras. I believe they're like very similar to the ones that were on the S21 Ultra from Samsung. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that real quick with you all. So for those of you that are still watching, thank you so very much. Let me give you a teaser of what's coming because I'm bringing back the live show. Oh, you overlook here. This is from my last partnership with Rumble, and I'm going to work to make sure I enroll with them because I do intend to make Rumble the home of everything that I've always wanted to do. I try to make it work with YouTube. I'm currently in a dispute with them over some copyright claims. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense when I am licensed to use this. And why now? If it's the same thing for the past 5.5 years. So I don't know what's going on, and it's upsetting me because it really feels like the walls are closing in over there, and I didn't have any place to land. But around the same time, Rumble announced sooner than I expected this new creator program that I do want to be a part of because I've been asking them for a while. It's like, how do I option my show to be on Rumble Premium, where I try to put some stuff behind the paywall for Rumble, because it's all Rumble Premium. It's not you paying me. Go to my locals and pay me so you can engage with me. No, no, no. It's for those that actually pay Rumble Premium and have access to exclusive shows that I've always wanted to do for a wider audience. And they said when in March, after you've been enrolled and brought into the creator program, you'll be given the tools to do the Rumble Premium thing. So my intention is to make that quota. I want to be able to do what I can between now and then. So it's going to be a little bit of an experiment with some of the timing. Tomorrow I might do 2 streams. One is going to be more of a real estate heavy because of fleeing California type of stuff. It's an important meeting I was just notified about today. Resources for property owners, and believe me, it's California focused, but even though you don't live here, you're going to want to know. That's why there's a saying that says, where California goes, so does the rest of the country. It's important for you to know how ridiculous and inept our leadership is. Before I started filming, Gavin Newsom is in Washington, D.C. So before I started filming, he was supposed to meet with President Donald Trump and then with Congress about how to get aid over the wildfire victims over here. Okay, so simultaneously while he's over there, the state legislator, they couldn't pass anything to try to help the individuals impacted by the fires, okay? But they all were able to convene on a party vote and say, here's $50 million to devote to stop President Trump's immigration policies here, and also give resources to help the illegal immigrants combat the immigration policies. Hold on, that's priority? What happened to trying to help our people here? So believe me, there has been all this concern about like how many more people from California don't have a home and can't afford the rent here because it's so freaking expensive. Some of them lost their incomes, are intending to move elsewhere. It's a true concern. I've covered this already on my main show, and I will be tuning in, and I'll probably be streaming it along with you guys. I caught my breath again. Sorry, I've been thinking for what, an hour 40? And I haven't had lunch yet. I'm in California. But yes, so anyway, that's all to say that I will be covering California topics because it might affect you too. And you're going to want to know. So I'm really curious as to what the meeting is going to be about tomorrow. because I was already part of a couple of them with when it comes to wildfire resources, but there wasn't really anything there for the public to know, so I didn't weigh in on it. But I was a part of a seminar with the insurance commissioner that didn't age well for them, because everything I said came true. And now with the rains here, Gavin Newsom is like, okay, we need to catch the rainwater. No, duh, Sherlock. We've been telling you that forever. Damn. Sorry, I could get totally worked up because so many people that I know that have been affected by these fires. It's just absolutely bonkers that it took this to wake people the hell up. And just, well, anyway, so I will get animated. I will say a lot more about that, and I can freely do so because if YouTube continues to censor me, I'm not just depending on them. I'm trying to make myself uncancelable. That's why I'm across multiple different platforms. I'm streaming right now to Rumble, Twitch, X, YouTube. I'm streaming to all of you guys, and I want to keep that going. And now with this phase for the month of February, you'll be seeing the live thing go up more. So if you can join one or all of them, fantastic. I appreciate any of you making just even 5 minutes to check out my content. And if you like what you see and you share it, even better. Especially for all of those of you that appreciate my tech stuff. So before I chime into what you can expect, I already filmed it, but now that I'm doing the lives, it might delay it a bit. I did the unboxing. It's supposed to be two videos. The unboxing of the Remarkable Pro paper tablet and the accessories. So I got all of that. One thing that I didn't do, and it's actually I think I didn't do for both of them. So I have two devices that I got over Christmas that I didn't do an unboxing or review of any of the sort. So if you're interested in seeing it, let me know. My company gifted me the Garmin. It's a Porsche Epix, a Porsche design Epix watch. Thank you. And if you're interested in seeing a review on that, I guess I'll wait. I never had a Garmin watch. Apple Watch, sure. Tizen, Wear OS, and other stuff, I've had them, but I never had a Garmin watch. So I'm interested in this experience, and I'm telling you, I'm loving it. So maybe I will tell you. So then the other one is it's the iPad Pro Max, like the big one, like all decked out. So I got all the stuff, and I've barely been able to use it because I've just been trying to catch up with everything. And I'm going to be utilizing it more for my live streams here going forward. But let's hear my thoughts on it. Let me know because I gotta tell you that screen, it's like the S24 Ultra, and if you know what I mean about that, then you know what I'm referring to because that screen is special. The nanotech that they put on it, like kind of like a privacy gloss, that's pretty awesome. But I haven't put it through its paces yet. And you like to see my thoughts on it? Sure. But the actual tech videos that I am still working on are the Remarkable Paper Pro tablet thingy. And of course, whenever I get my hands on the Brax 3 device, which is expected to ship next month. So I'll be streaming live when that hopefully materializes. And if they get me the phone sooner, then you'll know it too. But Clement, Rob, if you guys are watching, invitations are in your DMs. So let me know. Okay. And what can you expect? Let me tell you which guests have said yes. And this is before I knew I was going to be doing live stuff. So they might not be live interviews. But I can tell you that yes, Eric Prince said yes, and for those of you that missed it, also Tig, one of the four GRS members, Heroes of Benghazi, that night, he's also agreed to be on my show. We were going to address the controversies, but I might come at it a little differently about what happened earlier this year with the Anti-Hero podcast and stuff like that. If you want to hear what I have to say about that, stay tuned for an interview that I am dropping this week from one of the investigators for the Benghazi committee. He wrote a book called Fire Alarm, and I had him on the show last week, and it's all ready to go. So I might drop it tomorrow. We'll see. And Laura Loomer is coming back on the show, so we're going to hopefully finish that big tech stuff. And now she's, as of yesterday, 2 days ago, she got all her monetization back on X. Fantastic. Happy for you, Laura. Happy that took freaking forever to get that back for you. But yeah, she's supposed to be on the show too. We're going to make that work, including a bunch of other guests that I've also invited onto the program. But, and here's what I wanted to make a little more unique. And it's something that I'm going to be doing a kind of like a practice run. So, because it is something that I'm intended to do for Rumble Premium. And I'm going to be experimenting this weekend to stream. For those of you that follow me long enough know that I've been on a health and fitness journey for a long, long time. And last year, it got really complicated for me. And it didn't help that I did a lot of live streaming for the Rumble Creators Program last year too. Uh, I powered through it despite all the tech issues that I had. And for those of you that discovered me, that stuck around with me, thank you so very much. I know who you are, and yeah, you guys chime in every now and then. Um, and now it's exclusive to Rumble. This time it's not. I'm streaming everywhere else, but I do want to make some premium content only for you guys, and that is documenting this next phase in my health journey. So Saturday, if all goes well, in the evenings here in the West Coast, work out with me. It's going to be a very slow paced thing for reasons I'll explain even in more detail on it. And Sundays evening, because I was already planning on doing this, I was already planning to meal prep. So maybe you can meal prep with me. So I'll share more details about that and show you my before and afters, how I got into the health fitness journey and the big transformation I had in my life, only for things to go backwards a little bit and struggling to get back on the high horse. But then running into all the health issues I had last year. And just a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't walk pretty much for like several hours at a time because of what happened with my back. But thank God that I'm mobile enough, and I feel like I'm ready to start taking it easy, but getting back to the home gym and be able to move things around. So those that know best are on Instagram, because that's where I share these stories. So for those of you interested, you can follow me on Instagram across all the socials, even Parlor. I share my health journey on Parlor too, in the community over there for the fitness fanatics. So it's at the Underscore across everything. But obviously, you're watching on X. I'm on X, but I try to keep it professional over there. Including just about everywhere else, but that on X is _Segovia. But I do want to share that with you all, and if it gets enough attention, I do want to put that behind the premium section. But it's not just that. When I did the Rumble Creator Program last year, if you'll notice, I might even highlight it here for you guys. I did some live react or watch alongs to certain TV and stuff that I enjoyed, that maybe didn't get their time of day. And let me pull up my channel here. My channels, yes. Okay, so I'll share this real quick so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is over on Rumble. It's not available anywhere else because reasons. So I did an entire live stream, the ultimate DVD commentary, 13 hours, with one of the heroes that was there on the ground and one of the CIA targeters that was hunting down terrorists on site. And for those of you that participated live, thank you so very much. You guys learned a lot, of whole different perspective than what you thought you knew. And unfortunately, we're still paying the price for what's the investigative failures that you learn about in the interview that I did. That's going to be publishing soon, as to why the left and the right, Republicans and Democrats, dropped the ball on this to get things right. And then you saw what happened in Afghanistan. You saw what happened on October 7th in Israel in 2023. And you're seeing maybe not so much in the news, but a lot of stuff is happening, including what's currently going on with Afghanistan. And you should be absolutely upset that you have been paying for it with your tax dollars. So hopefully the Trump administration does the right thing to stop all that. They already did a great thing by stopping U.S. aid, which has nothing to do with aid. That's a big step forward. So what I do is live react and say, no name says thank you. Hey, you're welcome. So what I intend to do is there are shows that I want to watch, and being that it's going to be Easter, if you haven't heard of a series called AD, The Bible Continues, also known as AD, the series, also known as AD's Kingdom and Emperors or Empires or like that, they relabeled it so many times. It was an NBC show. I was at the taping for the talk show Behind the Show, the last one that it was made. It was just it was a mini series meant to be, but with an option to pick up. I did do the first 2 episodes live reacting the previous creator program, but that was only on Rumble. And at the time, I didn't have the high res thing that I do now. And I'm excited to try that for you guys, to do the entire series. It's 12 episodes, and I would do like once a week. I might even bring a apologetics buddy of mine to, so we can probably banter about it, or maybe even disagree on how it was portrayed and things like that. Not The Chosen. I won't do The Chosen. I've spoken about The Chosen before, but I won't do The Chosen. But it's just an example of the content that I'm intending to do, especially what I've always wanted to bring, because for the most part, a lot of that's behind locals. So for those of you on Rumble, you might see like a red button somewhere down here. It says join, or it might even be up here somewhere. You can hit that. You'll see just about everything that I've done. So many different shows you won't find anywhere else. That's only there. But unless you're paying for locals, you don't really get access to all of it, and you can't really engage with me. So that's always been a draw, like a bummer, because I don't like having to ask people to be chipping in tip jars and all that. I don't. That's why I say, hey, if you're gonna shop for something like coffee or skin products or shampoo and all that stuff, hey, use my affiliate links down below, including Amazon purchases that I highlight. It helps the show. So that's by one extension that you can put your dollars to work, and by extension, you help me. So that's why I just thought I mentioned that. So I do want to focus on like the health and fitness thing that I've wanted, mostly because I want accountability, especially when I, for the most part, get to do this by myself. Uh, it's well, it just always feels better with community, and why not share it with you all? So that's what I thought I weigh in on that and do some live reacts. But I am lining up a bunch of guests too. It's not just going to be yours truly the whole time, but whenever I get to do these Q&A things in response to a lot of you, hopefully we get back into the swing of things. And now that I have basically an entire new setup for my studio here, and I'm basically done setting up what I have in my home gym, with the tech stuff all lined up. I learned the hard way, and now I'm basically ready to bring you a better streaming experience. So, yeah. Anyway, I think I said what I needed to say. Check out my stuff at theandresegovia.com. Follow me across the socials at theandresegovia. Once again, shout out to the folks over at Parlor. Thank you so very much for having my back on a lot of things. My interview series gets new life over on Play TV, which belongs to Parlor. So if you missed out on a lot of the interview stuff, the people are tuning in over there. So I am happy about that. And for the most part, I'm probably going to keep the interview series there, but I might be bringing some more of my content there too. But live streaming, well, that's what all these other platforms allow me and afford me to do. And no, you're following my journey to get back on the creators program and hopefully provide premium content for you all. I want to do anime too. There's some of you that haven't seen Steins Gate, and I'm going to watch it again. So hopefully you'll join me. But anyway, I haven't had lunch, and it's already what, 2:30? Freaking A. I gotta go. I believe me, I appreciate you all. Thank you so very much. I will be clipping out that thing about the unplugged phone. For those of you that are just catching up, this was about 2 hour stream, so I did go over your Q and A's, and after that, walk through the latest in the firmware that I'm beta testing for Unplugged. I will not be using this as a daily driver because I'm going to be experimenting with the unfinished software, but I will be doing a video on that. I have two more tech videos with respect to the Remarkable lineup that I do have in the works, and I have other interviews that are already done that are pre-recorded that I might play on a stream here. But tomorrow I do intend to have a more early morning stream, because I'm going to be on a webinar with respects to what's happening with California and people investing to get out of here. And even though you're not in California, you might want to pay attention because they might be coming to a neighborhood near you. So just letting you know, you're not going to want to hear that. And I will cover some more issues with respect to what's going on in Los Angeles, the draconian authoritarian measures they're taking against property owners. I think is egregious. So yeah, a lot to cover. More to come. I cover business, tech, and whatever interests me. That's what you get from this show. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing, especially if you're not a gamer on Rumble, you're a right-wing influencer of sorts. So that's pretty much all you get. I'm giving you something different. Hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you so very much. I'll see you on the next one.